From the moment I could remember, my brother Dylan was a big part of my world. We were like two sides of the same coin, partners in crime who shared an unbreakable bond. His joyful laughter would fill our childhood home, and his cheeky grin was a constant source of both happiness and frustration for our parents. Dylan was like my friend, the one who eagerly joined me in backyard adventures, building fancy forts from pillows and blankets, or staging epic battles with our big collection of action figures. We shared secrets, dreams, and the kind of strong trust that only exists between siblings. As we navigated the rough waters of growing up, our bond remained strong. Dylan was the one I confided in, the shoulder I leaned on, and the voice of reason that offered wise advice or a well-timed joke to lighten the mood. But then, something strange began to happen. Small details, once so clear and real, started to blur and fade. Memories of our shared experiences became hazy, like trying to hold smoke with bare hands. A nagging doubt crept in, whispering constantly, was Dylan ever really there? I ignored these thoughts at first, but they persisted, growing louder each day. I found myself searching old photo albums, desperate for proof of my brother's existence, but the images seemed empty of his presence. Overwhelmed by this unsettling realization, I confronted my parents. Their faces grew pale, and my mother spoke, her voice trembling. Dylan was never real, honey. He was a figment of your imagination. Those words shattered the very foundation of my reality. How could they deny Dylan's existence? How could they pretend that the person I had loved and cherished as a brother had never been more than a daydream? As the days passed, the weight of my mother's revelation crushed me. The memories we had shared, the laughter and tears, the unbreakable bond, all of it had been a creation of my own mind, a way to cope that had gone wrong. But then, one fateful evening, as I looked through old family photos, a glimmer of hope emerged. There, tucked away in a worn-out album, was a candid shot of Dylan and me, arms around each other's shoulders, our grins stretching from ear to ear. In that moment, everything came crashing down. My mother's words had been a lie, a desperate attempt to protect me from a reality far more devastating. Dylan had been real, my beloved brother in the flesh, but a tragic accident had taken his life when we were children. The truth was too much for my parents to bear, so they had convinced me Dylan never existed, to spare me from the pain of loss. The realization left me reeling, questioning everything I thought I knew. If my parents had lied about Dylan's existence, what other secrets lay buried in the shadows of my past? Were they even my real parents? Or was our entire family a carefully constructed facade, a house of cards built on lies? In that moment, I realized the true horror lay not in the loss of a loved one or the betrayal of those closest to me, but in the fragility of our own minds and how easily we can be tricked, even by those we trusted most.